Hey guys, I've been busy going through the games of 2023. The list is insane. There have been so many good ones. I've got 3 to talk about right now, and they're all available on Xbox Game Pass. I just realized that. I didn't play them all on Xbox, but you can get all 3 of these games on Xbox Game Pass. Let's start with Forza Motorsport. They dropped the number off of this racing game. They have really kind of stuck to the foundations of racing with Forza Motorsport. It is a beautiful game, and it plays wonderfully, which is not a surprise because the Forza series has always delivered. Whether you're playing the Motorsport variety or the Horizon variety, Forza is a very fun racing franchise, and this is no exception. Of course, this skews into the sim racing direction, much like Gran Turismo, and it's really kind of about understanding your cars. You actually level up like an RPG as a driver in the game. You create your own driver and you level up that way, but you also level up with each of the cars that you race, and each car has its own independent level up tree, and you earn car points that allow you to unlock all kinds of parts that you can tune and upgrade your vehicle with. So you really become one with the vehicles in this game. And what I really noticed about this title is that it's not especially flashy. It doesn't have a ton of attitude. It doesn't have the Horizon attitude. It doesn't even have the attitude and the flashiness that you had in Gran Turismo 7, which Polyphony really kind of put a lot of story elements in there and history elements about all these vehicles, and they had the cafe and all that stuff. It was a love letter to cars in general. And this is really more about the experience. This is about getting you in the seat and feeling the tires on the tarmac and getting a handle for the cars. And I also have to say that I really, really love the cockpit view in Forza Motorsport. And I can't remember digging the cockpit view in a 2D racing game as much as I did in this title. I, of course, love the cockpit mode when you play Gran Turismo 7 in VR, and that's incredibly special. And this almost had that kind of VR sensibility about it because it's so refined and you really feel the vehicle. The other thing that I noticed is the feedback on the Xbox controller while you're playing the game, and also the animations of the car. When you're stepping on the brake, the car will actually lift up. Everything just felt so grounded and real, and I could feel the enhancements. I was pretty much choosing auto upgrade every time, but I could feel the enhancements in my car getting better as I got to know it a little bit better. And I also liked the challenge of the environmental conditions as well. The rain would come in over the tarmac, and there would be fog all over the screen, and it would become legitimately difficult to not only see the vehicles ahead of me, but also the prerequisite racing line. I also played around with the difficulty settings as I started to become a little bit more comfortable with the game, and it gave me just tons of great feedback and great reward. It felt fantastic to race in this game. Now, I am not done playing Forza Motorsport. It is massive. There are 500 cars and 20 tracks, and more stuff is coming, and I'm sure Turn 10 is going to keep tuning and tweaking and adding all kinds of elements to this title. It is beautiful. I can't believe that it's another one of these titles that really underlines the value of Game Pass, because of course if you have Game Pass, you can just download this and jump in and start racing like crazy. In terms of the battle between Gran Turismo 7 and the most recent Forza Motorsport, I think I err on the side of Gran Turismo 7 because of all of that beautiful embellishment. They're both gorgeous games. I think the handling is better in Forza, but I love the fact that there's a VR mode in Gran Turismo 7, and it looks gorgeous, and it has lots of music and flash and sizzle in a muted, kind of respectful way. I don't know, it pulled me in a little bit more, but I can see people appreciating Forza Motorsport more and getting addicted to it. They're both incredible, and the fact that they're both exclusives for each of the respective consoles, they kind of cancel each other out. They're both so damn good. But yeah, I probably like the Gran Turismo 7 experience a little bit more than Forza Motorsport. And I'm also more of an arcade racer, so of course I prefer the Horizon franchise. But this is an excellent game. I'd give Forza Motorsport an 8.5 out of 10. Another game that I played that's also on Game Pass, and I played this in a weird way. I actually played this on my MacBook Pro. It's Lies of P, a Pinocchio-flavored Soulsborne experience, which is really freaking cool. It's got a great gothic kind of horror vibe. Geppetto brings your Pinocchio character to life, and you're in control of this Pinocchio. He's got a steel arm, and he's got a bladed weapon. As far as I have gotten into the game, and I have to admit, I am not very far in the game, but I streamed this on our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/ EPN, and it ran beautifully on the Mac. I had to adjust a couple of things so that I could stream. It's one of the first times I have streamed a game natively made for the Mac in a long time, but it really showed off the horsepower of my MacBook Pro with the M1 chip processor in it. It handled it beautifully. It was running everything at 1920 by 1080 at 60 frames per second. I had it at best settings in terms of graphics. Didn't notice any DLSS, of course, or anything with, AMD FSR or anything like that in the menus for the Mac version of the game. But I think I had it running at the best settings it could run at 1920 by 1080. It slowed down a little bit when I was running it in 4K, and I also tested the game out on the ultra widescreen display that I have, and I had to set everything to medium settings to have it run really well. And it did, and it's gorgeous. I love the animatronic enemies that you're fighting, all of these robot dogs and things like that. It's, they're puppets, and they're robots, and they're spooky, and they have giant keys as weapons, and you'll see mutilated human bodies everywhere, and lots of devastation and destruction. And then you'll hit a boss, like I did, this Parade Master boss that was just kicking me left, right, and center, and I just couldn't find the right parry mechanics to move forward in the game, at least not yet. I've got it on my Mac, which is the same Mac that I've edited this video on, and it blows me away that it handles so well. Of course, you can download this on Game Pass, and you can play it on other consoles and stuff too. I'm really impressed with this game. I haven't gotten very far, but I can see that I will keep playing it because it's very fun. It's very familiar if you played something like the Dark Souls games or Bloodborne or Sekiro or Elden Ring. It's got that kind of explore the world and try to get past these big bosses and continue on your adventure, but it's so elegantly made. I haven't gotten far enough that I can review the whole damn thing, but what I've seen so far, I really, really dig. This also gets an 8.5 out of 10. The other game that I've played is also on Game Pass. I happen to play it on the PlayStation 5, and I also streamed it on our Twitch channel. It's called Cocoon, and this is made by some of the people that worked on the indie darlings Limbo and Inside. And again, this has a very trippy aesthetic. It's simple at first blush, but then it starts to kind of unravel and show off its intricacies and its complexities, and it's absolutely beautiful with really cool atmospheric music. It's a puzzle adventure, and you do get into boss fights. And I kind of liken it to this weird concoction of the top-down Zeldas, a little Exevious, a classic, geometric-shaped shooter, which was also top-down. Very cool look to that old classic shooter if you've never played it before. And also the Monument Valley games, which were huge successes on mobile, and you can also play them on a variety of machines at this point as well, and they're fantastic too. But Cocoon kind of takes a bunch of interesting game concepts and philosophies and ideas and mechanics that we've seen before and make something wholly original. I mean, the weirdest thing about this game is that you are actually carrying the levels of the game on your back in these little egg sack things, and you and your character will leap into them, and you'll be in a completely different environment with a whole new set of mechanics and puzzles and different challenges that you have to solve. And it's so hypnotic and so inviting, but also weird and trippy and a little bit confusing in places. But God, it's hard to imagine how this could exist as anything else, any other form of media than this weird and wonderful video game. And also how these creators conceived it. Like, how do you write the game design document where you're leaping into the world like this and bouncing back and forth? There are puzzles in this game where you have to leap into a dimension or a world and then activate some kind of switch and then leap out of it, go back into the previous thing, and then you're able to jump back in at a further point so you can continue with your little pal that unlocks the gate that lets you keep on going. And your mind is like, did they figure this out? How do you think like this? But you start to kind of acclimate and get used to it and used to the rhythm, and you see the genius of it. And man, it is a special game. It's worth every penny to buy it on any platform that it's available for if you don't happen to have Game Pass. But yes, it's a no-brainer to download on Game Pass. And I'm sure there's going to be all kinds of collector's editions around this and vinyl sets and all that stuff. This is very special. I know we've got a ton of excellent games to choose from in 2023, but I'm telling you, Cocoon is one of the very best. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. All right, there you go. I am still working my way through a huge mountain of lots of cool games, so make sure you're following our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/EPN, where I'm streaming new stuff all the time, and I'll be back with fresh reviews and lots of news and interviews for you right here. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you soon, and until then, play forever.